Okay, y'all came here to hear about flowers. A great way to get a lot of pow at your front door is containers. You can do it fairly inexpensively. Farron would disagree. The pots are expensive, but you only buy those once. My suggestion, and this is where I come from when I talk about pots with clients. I love this little pot. And it would be great on your kitchen table or in your windowsill where you can water it every day. But there is not enough soil in this pot to sustain life on your front porch in August in South Carolina. If you're going to put a pot on your front porch, you need to go big. Bigger than that. Because believe you me, when you look at a pot in the nursery, and there's one over here I'd like for you to see when you leave, just beyond the planter, it is this high, it is this big around, and you'd think, way too big for my yard. When you take these things home, they shrink. They shrink in your yard. And you can pile up tons of planters and you won't get the pop that you're looking for. I'd spend all that money rather than on 10 planters, spend it on 1 or 2. Something like this, I'd even go larger if you can afford it. Get something that'll hold a lot of dirt. It'll save you a lot of watering and really give you the focal point that you're looking for. You want something when you approach your house that says, I live here. I worked with a client recently, and I was very interested in her. She was just a bubbly kind of person, a lot of personality, went in her house, color everywhere. The outside of her house was so dull. It didn't look like she lived there. So if you're a colorful kind of person, think about expressing yourself in the color of your pot. Be a little bit adventuresome there, in the color of the flowers that you place in that pot. You can do that in a weekend. You can get the pots delivered if they're big and you can't lift them, and plant to your heart's content. Create a floral arrangement in that pot. Don't just stick one thing in there. Blend things. Look around the nursery and see how they have combined things in pots to be almost like something you would get from the florist. Now when I say pots, not like this. Not a lot of pots. There's no method to this madness. I do want to show you how some pots have been used very successfully. 2 pots flanking a door. Where's the focal point in that house? It's clear. It says welcome. The staircase is wide. They didn't narrow that by putting the pots too close together. It's really pretty. It says, I like living here and I welcome you to my home. A big pot on the wall. Another pot. A simpler pot. This only has 3 plants in it. Notice the color combination here with this plant, the rosy rust in that plant, and the rosy rust in the pot. Big pot. Elephant ears in a pot. The picture that I showed you earlier of my friend's house that we had done, this is a planter that we put in kind of an enclosure on the front of her house. And this is that pot at the end of the summer. It was a focal point. It screamed, hello. And that's the personality that my friend has. This is a pot that's turned sideways because it didn't have quite so much room on their porch. This is a pot they actually put a tree in, and you'll see some of that in the nursery. Don't go for little tiny things. Go for big. Go for a tree. In fact, when you're shopping to put something in your pot, before you go to the pretty stuff over there that's blooming their heads off, go to the shrubs and pick out the centerpiece for your pot. Nice pot. Another pot. Big pot. This is on a wall going like as you entered the entryway to this house.